Hello, good people. Again, it's a wonderful time for us to talk about our topic, debunking the myth of life. If you remember very well, our last topic, we were talking about the environment through which we found ourselves in, whether through growing, education, work, or any other similar environments. Today, we want to talk about debunking the myth of life, and our focus is going to be, let me call it, the point at which you stand when you are looking at something. A renowned scholar and writer by the name Robert Greene cautioned, I don't subscribe to all his thoughts, but I just want to borrow his definition of the topic I want to talk about. He calls it the colors through which you see something, and I believe that is more accurate than describing it, the point at which you stand when you're looking at something. So we'll use Robert Greene's definition of it, simply the colors through which you see something, throughout this topic of discussion, and hoping that that will not infringe any intellectual rights or any copyrights, or that won't be plagiarism, or that won't make me a Xerox as such. Now, what we understand by that statement, the color through which you see something, is simply the state in which you are when you are looking at something. The state can be physical, emotional, mental, psychological, whatever ways. There are so many states. I want to be able to pinpoint all of them. And I like describing or explaining something using an example. And I want to pick an example of the feelings of love. If on the other end of love is actually hate or hatred. Now, if you see someone or something through the colors of love, most of your judgments are normally skewed. Even if the person did something that is out of normal, something that isn't good in the eyes of everyone else, to you it may really look just fine. Why? Because you are seeing this person through the colors of love. Similarly, if you hated someone, whatever they do, you are most likely to look at it through the colors of hate, and you are most likely to look at it and come up with a conclusion that is most likely negative. Now, that's what, based on those two examples I've given of extreme ends, that's what I will discuss, and this is going to be in two sections because I'm using an application's camera, which only gives me a timeline of 10 minutes, and this topic unfortunately cannot be discussed in 10 minutes. I'm simply going to divide it into two or extra lessons depending on how much I feel I will be comfortable to talk about it comfortably, not exhaustively, but also not to address it. Now, when I talk about the colors through which you see something, I will also like us to pick certain areas through which we can discuss. Definitely we can't talk about everything, but most of the things that affect us are the things we are going to pick. For instance, education, work, love, probably religion, and very moderatively, because those are a bit sensitive. I will avoid politics. That's also very sensitive, because usually topics on religion and politics are very, very divisive, and there's in most cases offensive, even if you try to be as neutral as possible. Now, when I address it in terms of education, education is very broad, but basic elementary education, where students are graded with grades like an A, an A minus, depending on which education system you go through, at least there are certain gradings similar to S, A minus, B's, all the last grade. It can be an E, an F, depending on the system you are in. Now, and this is at an elementary level of education. In the Kenyan 844, we can say it's Form 4. I'm talking about a Form 4 level. Now, if you see something through that kind of an education system, it means that your judgment is based on how good the grades look like. You are likely to perceive someone who has a smarter grade like an A to be much more intelligent than someone who got a grade like an E or maybe a D. Someone may even say he doesn't or she doesn't know the difference between a D and an E. It all depends with where you stand. Now, that means if a point was to be spoken by someone who got an A, even before you took your time to understand what they said, you are likely to make an assumption that whatever they are going to say is intelligent. Again, I'm not sure whether that is correct, but most people will say it's an unfair way of judging. Similarly, you are likely to perceive an argument put forward by someone who got an E to be an intelligent or not intelligent argument or point. Again, it all depends. The point is, we see things through the colors of the point we are standing in, and that is purely the point I'm bringing out. That this make it sort of some form of a bug in life. It gives me the courage to say this one is a champ that I can address about life. Even past elementary education, we like to think that people who take certain education programs are more intelligent, unfortunately. For instance, lawyers are perceived to be very intelligent. Again, I don't want to support or not support that, but that's the perception we have. That's the point of view some people look at, like engineering, medicine, and that gives me the courage to address the whole thing, the whole confusion of life. You get a child who has gone to school. This child was so good in artwork, just drawing things. But because this child scores some good grades in mathematics and English and those super subjects, the people around this child and the teachers and the parents start convincing this child that they should be doctors or engineers because they are scoring good grades. Now, this child abandons what they are good at, believing that whatever they are being told is what they were destined to do in life. And that is exactly the point. That where we stand from when we are looking at something is simply one of the things that bring so much of the confusion we face in life. Apologies, colleagues. I also come from a background, and that background gives me a certain challenge when expressing myself in a language that is specifically not my first language nor my second language. It's actually a language learned at school, probably my fourth or fifth language. So colleagues, we will be moving in on the same topic, the colors through which we see something in my next video. And I believe this one has given us proper foundations to address this topic and talk about it exclusively.